So what I've realized is that a lot of the pool builders that I know are really good at building the pools. They're really good at designing everything. I had a friend call me yesterday and he said, "Bro, I just posted a video. I edited myself. I put a lot of work into it. It's got 7 likes." Like he was pretty upset. And I'm like, "Well, what are you doing?" And he showed me and I was like, "Okay, makes sense," right? There's a reason for it. And I want to break down in this video just a strategy that you can pretty much rip off and duplicate without any editing skills, without any filming skills, and just put stuff out there that gets you seen and gets people to actually care about your business. So before we get into the actual strategy, there's going to be 3 parts to it. But before we get into the actual strategy, we need to understand, I need to put my top-down phone up first. But before we get into the strategy, you need to understand why certain things don't work. Because like I said at the beginning, you guys do amazing work, right? All of the home service guys I work with do amazing work. They kill it. It's beautiful. Like they're just good at what they do. The problem is nobody cares about the finished result. You can tell them about the finished result. You can show them about the finished result. Like you can do that over and over, but nobody cares. And the reason for that is because your competition also has finished results. Your competition also has reviews. And so if we think in your area, there's a handful of people doing the same thing as you that probably aren't better than you, but for some reason they're winning, you don't need to be better. You need to be different because it's 2025. Like, unless you are doing unless you're doing pools in 3 days instead of 4 weeks, like, all right, maybe there's a better edge there. But for the most part, everyone's kind of doing the same stuff. And so you don't need to be better, you need to be different. And the way you can do that is by how you showcase what you do and by doing things that people actually care about. So I want you to get this out of your head, not my head. Get this out of your head right now. I don't need to showcase my finished results. I need to tell stories, all right? And that's what I told my friend on the phone. I was like, "Look, dude, if you just did that same video, but you talked about it while you walked through it, it would be way less boring." I'm like, some of those clips, you're showing the thing for 4 seconds. Like in 1 second, I understand what it is. I'm bored already. Like you gotta either narrate, you gotta be funny, you gotta give people a reason to stick around and watch, because just showing stuff with music isn't good enough. All right, so you got that out of your head. Let's move into the actual strategy. So if that's true, if you're like, "You know what, that actually makes sense, Douglas, I don't think you're crazy." Good. If that's true and if that makes sense, now let's shift the way that we're creating content. And so what I mean by that is, oh good, it's working, life is good. What I mean by that is, okay, here's the camp, all right? And this is good, this is bad. Finished job. And you might be saying, I know you're saying this, "Well, this job was really big and this job was really expensive," and that's okay. Like there's stuff that goes into it that makes it big and makes it expensive that you can talk about and you can extrapolate on to tell a better story. But I think my argument here is more just a picture of a finished job isn't gonna do anything. Just a picture of a finished job, nobody cares about. It's not gonna give them a deeper reason, okay? So that's my argument here. That's my, bear with me. All right, finished job, bad. Story, good. The cost, right? People love to hear about the cost of things. All right, so I'm out here on this $500,000 project. Let me show you exactly why this job's $500,000. Okay, well, first we have this custom thing, this custom slide that we're building, and there's gonna be flames coming out of it, like whatever it is, right? You can do it. And like I was saying here, this is an extrapolation of this, right? Why does it cost so much? So instead of just, "Oh, look, here's this finished job that's really boring," let's break it down into a lot of different pieces, right? The story behind it, the struggles always do really good, especially for short form. And guess what? You're not perfect and neither is anybody else, and nobody expects you to be perfect. Like I saw a post from somebody that said they've been waiting 9 months to get their permits. Now, they're doing it themselves. So actually, no, they're contractors, but they're not pool contractors, and they hired a pool contractor, but they're in a flood zone. And so anyway, 9 months to get permits, right? If I had a job that was taking 9 months to get permits, or the city was giving me a hard time about testing concrete or something like that, like those are good stories. And it shows here's what we need to do. Like in our content, we want to passively sell, okay? And this is like a college, social media, college level degree or thing to understand. So it's really hard to break down at a granular level. But so we're going to take another step back. What I mean by that is you're passively selling things. And so if you say, I'm a fitness trainer, right? So if you say, hey, I'm a fitness trainer and I get really good results, that's one thing, right? Fitness trainer, I'm him, right? I'm a fitness trainer, I get really good results. That's one message that you can convey in your content. But if you say, this is Sally and I helped her lose 20 pounds, this says the exact same thing. I'm a fitness trainer and I help people lose weight, but it's a very non-confrontational way. It's coming at it like, hey, look, here's this story. Here's somebody, here's where we're at, here's how I help play that role. And it puts people's guard down because it doesn't feel like you're being sold to, okay? And so what I'm getting at with that is in your content, you want to sneakily do the same thing, right? Hey, look at this finished project and here's how we overcame these hurdles, right? What that's saying is that you helped do this project and you're also good at what you do because you were able to overcome these hurdles. Or, hey, this is how we were able to fit the homeowner's budget, right? It's like, you're not saying you're the best, you're saying how you did something. And if you were able to do that thing, obviously you build pools or obviously you're a good pool builder, okay? So anyway, you want to break it down and think about it like that. So the big difference between the good things and the bad things, like another one is I'm the best, is the lack of story. All right. And so once I get past this, like you need to understand this or everything I say after this is not going to make any sense. But these are all stories, right? Hey, this is John. We're putting in this backyard, blah, blah, blah. Hey, this is John's finished product. Look at these, look at this Baja shelf. Hey, this thing costs $700,000. Let me explain why. Hey, we had a hard time with this, but here's how we overcame it, right? These are all stories and these are the things people want to watch. That's why we're on social media. We want to be distracted. We want to be entertained. Okay. So with that being said, what's really cool, what is so cool about you guys, about you pool builders, is that you have projects that have a timeline and your projects move along this timeline really well. And so what you want to do is you want to document, not create. This is Gary Vee's whole motto on content. Document, don't create. If you already have a project that has all these different stages that's moving across this in a couple months, right? You don't need to script anything. You don't need to stage anything. You don't need to plan anything. Like these things are already happening. These are already happening, right? All these stages are happening. And so you have stories along the way and it doesn't have to be hard. You have a couple different options, but essentially hold the phone, walk around and explain. It is like so simple. You got your phone, right? And you got your job over here. Maybe you have one of your employees, one of your contractors standing over here explaining what they're working on. Okay. And it is so easy. And you can do this at every single stage of the job. And as you get better at telling stories, you have a story within a story. What I mean by that is that of the thing that you're filming, this is one story, right? But next week you're filming another thing. And this is that same story, but it's a story of now the dig process. And if you look back over your account over a long enough time horizon, you can see the progress of that whole job. And bonus tip, if you're doing this and you're getting stuff at the very beginning and you're getting stuff at the very end, you can do a super badass before and after. Like a really good before and after because you have that progress. And do you think showing, hey, look, this is where something was and this is where it finished as a before and after is like a good story? It's a really good story. And instead of saying, hey, we're the best, hey, look at what we did, that's way better, right? It's very non-confrontational and it helps people get inspired. It helps people realize, oh, I could probably do something like that. So what's the tactical application to this, right? How do we get tactical? Pick some of your favorite jobs. Now, they don't have to be the biggest jobs. They just need to be some of the best jobs. Like some, not the best, but some of your favorite jobs. Okay. Cool, unique features, like things where you can tell a story. You pick some of your favorites. I would just start with one or two. So pick your jobs and then follow the timeline of it. Okay. Go out at each different stage and make 1 to 2 videos. It doesn't have to be over edited. It could be selfie style. It could be pointing that way and just talking to the camera, but explain what's going on. Explain the prep process, explain the dig process, explain the vision. Maybe you showcase the 3D design that sold them on it and talk about that. Explain the plumbing, explain like all of these different things, because here's what happened. I was at the dog park last night talking to a guy, okay? He's moving and he's like, dude, did you know how many different kinds of barbells there are? And I was like, no. And he's like, there's like hundreds. I'm like, what do you mean? He's like, different knurling patterns, different thickness, different depth. The ones for deadlift, they flex a little bit more so you can deadlift more weight. I'm like, that's crazy. The point of the story, this has nothing to do with pools, but the point of the story is that he knows those things because he's looking at building that. So right now he's in the research phase. He's looking at building like an in-home gym. He's looking at buying these things. And so that's knowledge that would never come to mind, that I would never research, that would never be interesting to me. But all of a sudden for him, oh, I think I need to buy some gym equipment. He's starting to research all of that, okay? And so for most homeowners who either already have a pool or have no interest in a pool, they don't give a shit about your content. They don't care. It's not interesting to them. But for those who are starting to research, those who are thinking about building a pool, and those who are thinking about getting going, do you think that they want to understand every single step of the process? Maybe not fully understand, but they do want to have a rough idea of what's going on. They want to have a rough idea how long it's going to take and how much it's going to cost, and if they can afford the different features and which type of material to pick and which type of equipment to pick. Like they want to know all those things so that they can make an informed buying decision. And you have the most beautiful opportunity right here to inform them and educate them along all of your different projects. All of them. They can be giant projects. They can be small projects, because like this is going to relate to different people. So like that same friend that called me, he wants to showcase all of these, and that's great. That's wonderful. But you still want to be, you want to be real. Like, I mean, shit, if this is all you do and all you're going to take, yeah, okay, just highlight this stuff because you don't have anything else to highlight. But authentically, if you build in between, like there's people down here that don't give a shit about what this looks like, or they're just dreaming about it, but they really want to know what's realistic for them, right? So include all the projects, all the ranges, and document each step of the way. And here's the last piece of it is like, this is way worse than like, well, okay, here's like, here's a pool going in, okay, and yeah, okay, there's a pool. This is way worse than this. Here's the same pool in the background. This is somebody explaining it, somebody talking, and this is a person. This makes this way more interesting because now there's like, who the hell is this guy? Way more interesting. And so if every step of the way you can say, hey, we're out here, we're about to start digging. This is kind of the perimeter that we're thinking. This customer chose a 9-foot deep pool. And so the process for that usually takes a long time. We had to open up their fence because they didn't have very good access, yada, 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 right? You want to talk about those things. You want to share that story every step of the way. And if you guys can do this, do you think it would be really easy to do content? A lot of questions people ask. Well, do I have to edit it? No. I mean, you can, but no, just don't. Like, people want real. People want authentic. It doesn't need to be overdone, okay? Like me, for my editing team, we have conversations every month. I'm like, hey, how can we make these better quality without overdoing it, right? We try really hard. We don't really use captions. We try really hard to blend it in with what's actually on social media, because if you have this really high production thing that pops up in between two shitty videos, you're like, oh, this is an ad, and you skip it. And so you want to blend in. And so you walking around with your phone, or you doing a selfie style and explaining things is probably going to work really good. And you're just documenting it every single step of the way. You're getting a ton of different videos that you can share. You can post something daily. You can post something 3 times a week, 5 times a week, and you have the content there. And you're referencing it. And if you reference an older part, like, they're probably going to want to go back and check the video. The last thing is you need to understand what it looks like for different amounts of people, because we get really hung up like, oh my God, I only got 200 views. If I were to draw, how long do you think it would take me to draw 200 circles for the amount of 200 views? And I agree, 200 views is terrible. But how long do you think it would take me to draw 200 circles? Like, what is that? 2, 4, 6, 8 times 3. That's only 24, right? 200 is a lot of people. 200 views is a lot. 100 is a lot. 50 is a lot. Like, if you posted 5 times a week and you only got 50 views, you're reaching 250 people a week. And potentially most of those have no idea who you are. And if you think you do that over a month, that's 1,000, right? And let's say only 50%, which is a pretty low number. Usually on Reels, it's 70 to 80% are a new audience. But let's say only 50% are a new audience. You're reaching 500 new people a month who had no idea about your business, right? And all you're doing is filming content of you yapping. Like, it is not hard. And if you do that over 10 years, hold on. What is that? 500 times 12, 6,000 times 10 years, right? And these are low numbers, but times 10 years, 60,000 new people have exposure to your business. You want to be cranking out way more content. And if you think you do this over 10 years, do you think year number 2, your videos might double or triple, right? And year number 4, they also might double or triple? Yes, of course they will. You're getting better at learning what people like. You're getting better at creating content. So TLDR, just quick rundown. Find 2 or 3 of your favorite projects that you like, the stuff that's going in. Document each journey. Just you don't have to be there for very long, 10, 15, 20 minutes. Just walk out there. Hey guys, today we're at so-and-so. Here's what's going on. Hey, a customer just asked me today. Hey, we have this really cool thing going on. Document that. Just freaking hit upload. Download it. Put it on the other platforms, right? Just take it and put it everywhere. If you're doing that, you are going to get way more exposure. And remember, on your content, your business doesn't need to be better. It needs to be different, because everyone else is trying to be better and everyone else is the same. So you want to be different. So if you lean into that, I guarantee you're going to have a lot more success. Hopefully this was a little bit helpful. I'll talk to you guys later.